And guys, we have made it to the top. What is happening? This is the Club of the Man 1993 country for the 30th episode, and for now, the final episode of this retro Royal Rumble match recap and review series, as we are going to go back to last year's Royal Rumble, the 2017 Royal Rumble match, and review it. And then, as I said before, this series will, be picked back up next January whenever I do the retro recap and review for the Royal Rumble matches for the women's and the men's Royal Rumble match for this year's Royal Rumble. It took me a little less than 3 weeks to complete this series, so I'm pretty glad I got this done in plenty of time before the Royal Rumble pay-per-view, and I got to go back and watch all 30 Royal Rumbles. So I'm happy. I got to see some good Rumbles. Again, my favorites, 1992, maybe 1998, 2001, 2004. I forgot to mention that one before. 2004, 2005, 2000. The end of 2007 definitely. 2010 was up there as well. 2013 still holds the place in my heart because it's my first Rumble. 2014, I was in Pittsburgh. 2016, 2017. Well, 2017's build was good for this Rumble match. 2017, you didn't know who was going to win this match, really. I couldn't tell you who was like a big favorite to win this match. I mean, my personal pick, I had The Undertaker winning this match. That was my prediction going in. I felt like it was going to be The Undertaker winning it, and then maybe having like a triple threat at WrestleMania between John Cena, AJ Styles, and The Undertaker, pretty much, to get, two guys in there who want to face The Undertaker for the title. It's obvious that Taker probably wouldn't win the title, but it would just be, I think a good, money-making match for WrestleMania. Unfortunately, that did not happen, though. We had a bunch of big names, as I said. We had Taker, Brock Lesnar, Goldberg. We had a lot of new guys getting their first cracks. And we had Chris Jericho in there also. We have Big Cass, Mojo Rawley. Braun Strowman, who is now, on, his right path, as last year's member of the Wyatt family was kind of green, but this year we expect a dominant performance. Sami Zayn had a good showing in there. Let me see here. But we had some big names in there, some other storylines going on there that happened. So overall, it was a decent Rumble, I'd say. It wasn't as good as I hoped for, though. The last 5 minutes, though, we'll talk about that when we get to the end. And then I'll talk about a couple possibilities how we could have fixed this. I mean, WrestleMania 33 last year, again, was a good show. I did enjoy WrestleMania 33. However, it could have been just a little bit better because of some little issues they had. And the Royal Rumble match winner, they could have gone with it, but I feel it was best to go a different route, though, after, seeing it happen. But let's just get right into this Royal Rumble match. This was also, as a reminder, the first year of the Rumble match with the brand split back. NXT superstar appeared in it, and we also had a Cruiserweight division superstar appear in this match. So technically we had 4 different brands, even though the Cruiserweights are technically considered on Raw. But, we have Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and 205 Live. And also, The Undertaker was considered a free agent for this match as well. So, again, this Royal match took place on January 29th, 2017 at the Alamodome in San Antonio, Texas. Last year, the stipulation was the championship. This year, it's back to, the winner gets a championship match at WrestleMania. So, we got started here. The number 1 entrant was Big Cass. And Big Cass, just did his promo saying how he wanted to be like Shawn Michaels and, win the Rumble match from number 1. Number 2 was Chris Jericho. And both these guys, by the way, were from Raw. Gotta get used to saying that again for this show. So they both started off the match at numbers 1 and 2. Number 3 from SmackDown was Kalisto. Followed by SmackDown superstar number 4 was Mojo Rawley from the Hype Brothers. Actually, this is a time where Mojo just started doing a singles run on his own because Zack Ryder was injured at the beginning of this year for a SmackDown tag title opportunity. He literally, again, got injured right as soon as he won the opportunity, unfortunately. Number 5 from 205 Live was Gentleman Jack Gallagher. Came out with William III. He came in there. He, smashed William III into Jericho's nuts, and he spun the umbrella just for a little bit of a comedy act. It was funny for what it was. Number 6 was, Jack Gallagher, I think, was one of the, surprise entrances. I think we knew all but 8 people who were going to be in this match. Because I remember, like, that was the big thing of who were going to be surprise entrants because of just how, unpredictable this match was, even though we had a bunch of big names in here as well. But yeah, number 6 was another surprise entrant, was Mark Henry. At first, I'm like, I don't know. But then I'm like, okay, yeah, he is from Texas. So, like, I guess, give him a spot in there is necessary. And since the one place where I would read online for some critics for the Royal Rumble reviews kept saying that Mark Henry only eliminated 2 people, and that was in his first Royal Rumble match. Well, he did eliminate 2 in another Rumble match, but he eliminated 1 in this match. But I think this person stopped doing the started doing, wasn't all caught up after the 2015 Royal Rumble match, I believe it was. So Henry did get 1 elimination here as he eliminated Jack Gallagher, who went out Mary Poppins style, like flying on his umbrella. But we knew he was going to win the Rumble match. But having Gallagher in the match was pretty cool to me. Number 7 was Braun! Braun Strowman, who was on Raw, and Mark Henry was also on Raw, too, I forgot to mention that. But Braun Strowman came out at number 7. He was a guy who I was hoping to at least have a dominating performance in this match. And for the most part, he did. It would have been nice if he was in there just a little bit longer, but the way he was eliminated, I was okay with it. But he went in there and he eliminated 4 guys before number 8 entrant came out. He eliminated Mojo Rawley, then he eliminated Big Cass, then he eliminated Kalisto, and then he eliminated Mark Henry. So just like that, 4 people were out of the match. There only 1 had been eliminated before he came in there. Number 8 from Raw was Sami Zayn, who had won the spot after he defeated Seth Rollins on Raw the previous week whenever Rollins was distracted by Triple H's music, and Seth Rollins was not, unfortunately, in this Royal Rumble match due to storyline purposes. Zayn was number 8. Again, he was on Raw. Number 9 from Raw was The Big Show, and him and Strowman stared down, which gives me a little bit of chills now because it makes me think of like how later on in 2017, Big Show and Strowman had 3 really good big man matches. If you haven't seen any of these matches, I highly recommend looking them up. They happened on Raw. Again, for a guy like Big Show, who we trashed on so much, but then they finally slowed him down of getting in the way of all these other bigger stars. They made him more of an attraction, and when he came back, he's put over Braun Strowman very well. Unfortunately, the same was not able to be done for Big Cass, unfortunately, but at SummerSlam last year. But he did it. Him and Strowman had 3 really excellent matches too. The ring collapsing on the super suplex, and also the steel cage match they had. So Big Show and Braun Strowman worked very well together. Strowman would eliminate Big Show here, and number 10. Everybody was hoping for it because the 10 chants were high as heck right now. And WWE made a really good move here. Number 10 from NXT was the perfect 10, Ty Dillinger. The only member from NXT to be on this Royal Rumble match in 2017. Was a little bit disappointing. We were hoping for Samoa Joe, but that didn't happen. He didn't appear until the night after, which did kind of wash my taste out. I did feel Joe should have been in this Royal Rumble match, but sadly he wasn't. But we got Ty Dillinger representing NXT for this match. And I gotta give it, despite the fact that Dillinger was not booked well when he came up to the main roster full-time after WrestleMania, when he was put on SmackDown, he had a pretty strong showing. He gave him a good strong 5 minutes in this match as him and Sami Zayn were teaming up on Braun Strowman, while Chris Jericho just here and there just ventured out of the ring and chilled out on the side, going under the rope, so not over the top rope. So Jericho was chilling here and there, just doing his thing. But Dillinger number 10, number 11 from SmackDown was James Ellsworth, came out with his friend, that's a girl, Carmella. Well, they're not friends anymore, as Ellsworth had left WWE a few months ago. But he came out, he was hesitant about getting into the ring because he stared down Strowman. And Ellsworth was also first known for being Strowman's first squash match on that July 25th episode of Raw in 2016, where that was in Pittsburgh, unfortunately, didn't get to attend it live, where Braun Strowman was repackaged and he was on his new path of destruction, and then that's where Ellsworth gave his famous line of "Any man with 2 hands has a fighting chance." He was squashed by Strowman, and here and there, him and Strowman would cross paths, and he was be squashed by Strowman. But he was hesitating about getting to the ring. So number 12 was Dean Ambrose. Now, if you remember, at TLC the month before, James Ellsworth costed Dean Ambrose the championship because he felt that if the AJ won, Ellsworth thought he was going to win the title because he had 3 wins over AJ Styles despite help from Ambrose. But But Ambrose came out number 12, and he was the Intercontinental Champion this time. And I was kind of hoping that maybe they would have, like, Ambrose just beat the crap out of Ellsworth. He never got his comeuppance on Ellsworth, despite the fact he did DDT Ellsworth, like, out of the blue the following night on SmackDown. Well, the following 2 nights on SmackDown after TLC. But he was teasing Ellsworth, like, ready to go, let's go together. Ready, 1, 2, 3. They run in, but Ambrose stops his looking face like Ambrose typically would when he's like, yeah, I got you. Ellsworth went in, he got squashed by Strowman, and Strowman threw him out. So then Ambrose got into the match. Number 13 was somebody who I, somewhat got a good run in this, but not quite as much as I hoped for. Baron Corbin, which, like Ambrose also, Ambrose and Corbin are both on SmackDown this time, as Ambrose eventually went over to Raw. But Baron Corbin went in, and he did all right. I was hoping for just a little bit more out of Corbin in this match. I mean, he got a lot of time, but maybe a couple more eliminations. But for the most part, he did all right in this match, I'd say. Actually, he only had 1 elimination, unfortunately, but it was a big one. So first, we had Strowman eliminate Ty, but then after Strowman eliminated Ty, they had Ambrose, Zayn, and then Corbin all get their shots in on Strowman, and then to a surprise, Corbin eliminated Strowman. I was surprised that they eliminated Strowman this early, but I was fine with Corbin being the one to eliminate him because he could have used like another big elimination. Again, Corbin got a lot of time in this Rumble, but unfortunately that was his only elimination. I would like to see a couple more eliminations from Corbin, but he did get a lot of time in this Rumble, as you'll hear by the end of this show. Number 14 was Kofi Kingston, the first of 3 members of the New Day that were in this match. He came number 14. He was on Raw at the time. Number 15 from SmackDown was The Miz, who's on the run of his career, came out with Maurice, but she didn't stay. A lot of people were disappointed by that because everybody thinks Maurice is pretty darn hot. And during this time also, Corbin had pushed Kofi off of the top post, trying to eliminate him, but Kofi held onto the post without getting his feet touching the floor, and you see his hoo tights on. So, I mean, it wasn't really the greatest, Kofi big save, but, Kofi had to get that moment, and so, whatever. It was alright, but not one of my favorites. Number 16 from Raw, actually, again, next several, number 16 through 20 were all from Raw. First was Sheamus, who was, he was kind of a tweener at this point, because him and Cesaro were still teamed up, but Cesaro was still considered a babyface, but Sheamus, it was kind of like, still like the Cesaro team at the time until Payback, when Cesaro officially turned heel, and that's when they became the Bar. So Sheamus was kind of like a tweener in this match. Him and Cesaro just lost the tag titles, though, to Gallows and Anderson on the pre-show earlier in the night. So he was number 16. Number 17 from Raw was Big E from New Day. Number 18 from Raw was Rusev, who had one of those face masks on his face that Cody Rhodes had in 2011 because Rusev had suffered a nose injury, so he was masked up. Number 19 was Sheamus' tag team partner, Cesaro, once again also on Raw. He did the Cesaro swing on Miz, Zayn, Ambrose, and Corbin, and I think he tried to do it on Big E, but he was too tired out, but he accidentally picked up Sheamus to do the swing, but then he thought about it, but until they were both attacked by Corbin, I believe it was, or whoever it was, so he didn't do that. Number 20 was Xavier Woods from New Day, from Raw, of course, so all 3 members of the New Day were in before the 20s, which I liked, so that way, it would leave, room for, the more surprise entrance going forward. Which I think also, forgot to mention, James Ellsworth, Ty Dillinger were all surprise entrants as well, as we didn't know they were going to be in there. Number 21 from SmackDown, Bray Wyatt, who came out, and then him and Xavier Woods, had a stare down when they got into the ring, because they were reminding us from what happened in 2016, whenever the New Day and the Wyatt family were feuding with each other. Xavier Woods was absolutely terrified of Bray Wyatt. So they got some offense in, but, nothing really happened that much. But it was a fun moment to be reminded of that. Number 22 was Apollo Crews, making his first Royal Rumble appearance. Then Cesaro and Sheamus will eliminate all 3 members of the New Day who were hanging on the apron. And then Sheamus tried to eliminate Cesaro, which I really thought that this tag team was going to be short-lasted, but they made it longer than it was. Most of those because of the rumors of Sheamus having spinal stenosis. But then Jericho, who had been coming in the ring, coming out here and there, came to the ring and eliminated both Cesaro and Sheamus from behind. So yeah, and Apollo Crews from SmackDown, I forgot to mention that. Number 23 from SmackDown was Randy Orton. But Randy Orton, if you remember, was a heel at this time. He was part of the Wyatt family, part of that angle where he was feud with Bray Wyatt, but he couldn't defeat Bray Wyatt, so he joined the Wyatt family, and this is where he played in his mind games with Bray Wyatt. Eventually, we'll talk about that at the end, though. So Randy Orton was number 23. Again, he was on SmackDown. From SmackDown, number 24 was Dolph Ziggler, who had just turned heel a few weeks earlier, but he was still kind of showing signs of being a fired up babyface, but he was still a heel. Of course, the best heel thing he ever did was that promo on Jerry the King Lawler. That was dark as heck. I got a follower on Twitter. Never mind. Just got distracted for a moment. Number 25 from SmackDown, speaking of Wyatt family, was Luke Harper. Now, the previous week on SmackDown, Luke Harper had kind of been, disbanded by the Wyatt family after he lost to Randy Orton, since him and Orton were having issues with each other. So Wyatt seemingly, kicked him out of the family. Well, Harper came in, he stared down Orton. They both started, doing their own thing on someone else in each corner. But then finally, Orton and Harper got face to face, and Wyatt got in between them saying, "Calm down, guys, calm down. You're fine. You're completely fine." And then Harper would then hit a clothesline, this discus clothesline on Wyatt, and he almost did the Sister Abigail on Wyatt himself, but Orton broke it free. But this is when Luke Harper briefly did turn babyface until they out of nowhere decided to put him and Rowan together as the Bludgeon Brothers, which they didn't have them on last week. But they're doing all right so far. But again, how many times are they going to be teaming up? But that's what happened there. Number 26 from Raw, the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. He came out with Paul Heyman. He would eliminate Ambrose and Ziggler. Number 27 from Raw was another surprise entrant. We had one more surprise entrant left after this. But it was Enzo Amore. He wasn't expected to be in this Rumble match. I remember him entering, I'm like, what if I had somebody else, be a surprise entrant. But I think this is where I started to sour down a little bit on Enzo Amore. But he came out all fired up, got toe-to-toe with Lesnar, but Lesnar just squashed him and threw him out. Number 28 from Raw, Goldberg. Goldberg making his entrance into the Royal Rumble. He was the first person to announce his entrance into the Rumble back at the night after Survivor Series when he defeated Brock Lesnar. It would have been cool to see Goldberg, get the knock on the door in his normal entrance, not just, the normal, Rumble entrances where you just come out and just go into the ring. By the way, also, the only thing I didn't like about this Rumble, what was up with the long ramp? I don't know why. The long ramp just kind of took me out because it took people a long time. But they did put it the time back up to 2 minutes in between, so it might be a good idea because of how long that ramp was. There's a little nitpick there. But of course, Goldberg would get in there and he would easily eliminate Lesnar, giving Goldberg continuing just to have Lesnar's number and just having Lesnar have an obstacle to get over, even though Goldberg was the face and Lesnar was the heel. But yeah, he just started, just shoulder tackling a bunch of. I think he had a jackhammer on Sami Zayn. Also, Goldberg got his offense in. Number 29, he was considered a free agent. The Undertaker. The gong went off. The lights went out. I think this is the first time since 2000. I'm trying to remember when it was. 2007 or 2008. I can't remember. He was in 2007. He won, but I can't remember if it was in 2008's Rumble. The Undertaker entered the Royal Rumble number 29, but he didn't walk down the ramp. His music and his entrance kind of went off, but then the lights came back on. He was back in the ring. He had a stare down with him and Goldberg, which was pretty cool. Goldberg would eliminate Rusev, but then Undertaker would come right behind Goldberg and eliminate him. The Undertaker just he didn't look in bad as shape as he did for WrestleMania 30, but he definitely put on some weight. Didn't look in as good a shape as he was then. He was a little bit bigger and a little bit older looking, but again, not as bad as he did for WrestleMania 30. Looked like he had been out in the sun for too long. All right, so a number 30 entrant. Now there was one more surprise entrant, and if you follow Daniel Gaiza at all on YouTube, he did live reactions, but you can only see myself and him in the shots for the most part. If you would have seen my reaction to number 30, you would have cracked up because that was Dan's favorite part. Number 30, I'm hoping for maybe Finn Balor, maybe Daniel Bryan to make a surprise return, which was very slim. Samoa Joe, I don't know, somebody, but even Shinsuke Nakamura for the heck of it, or Bobby Roode, somebody. This was a complete troll move. Number 30 was Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, I am sorry, He should not have been in this Rumble match. He shouldn't have been. I'm sorry. Why was he in this match? Just to fill up another spot? He was in a championship match earlier that night. They couldn't put AJ Styles in this Rumble, and he didn't win his championship match. Or I don't know, they could have put like Gallows or Anderson, like somebody else. Like why did they have to pick Roman Reigns? Like, again, it just showed us, again, Vince McMahon just trolling with us. Like, if Roman was in this match, he should have entered, at a different number, or we should have been told he was going to enter the match, or wanted to get his comeuppance on Braun Strowman. Like, if Roman would have gotten in there and Braun was Strowman, and they both would eliminate each other, I would have been fine with that. But coming in number 30 when, like, he just wasn't needed in there. Like, why did they put him in there? This is where, like the air in the tires went out for everybody, pretty much. They started booing, because we all thought Roman was going to win. Because why else would they put Roman Reigns in this Royal Rumble match? But he mainly had a big stare down with The Undertaker, which did tease the eventual match between Taker and Reigns. And, of course, now this is the first time I watched this Rumble again since it was last year. And, of course, knowing that Taker and Reigns would go on the main event, being the main event of Mania. But a couple times they did say this is his yard now or whatnot. So I'm like, okay, the teasing all coming. That was the main line of there. This is my yard now. But Reigns and Taker go at it for a little bit. Taker would then eliminate Miz and Sami Zayn, which Sami Zayn got a lot of time in there. I was very pleased with how long Sami Zayn was in this match. But then he goes to, he does a choke slam on Jericho. He does his little thing, but then Reigns comes over behind and eliminates him, which I was ticked because, again, Taker was my pick to win. So I'm angry, and at this point, I'm thinking Reigns is winning this. Reigns has got to be winning this. So after Taker's eliminated by Reigns, the final four was Reigns, Orton, Jericho, and Wyatt. So I was hoping for Jericho or Wyatt. Jericho goes to the storyline, and Wyatt I knew it was going to happen eventually with him and Owens, and Wyatt, because I felt like he needed it more than any of the other two. So then Reigns would eliminate Chris Jericho. So I'm like, oh, great. Here we go. Reigns is going to win this. Like, there was no way they were going to pull the trigger on Bray Wyatt or even Randy Orton. I didn't think it was going to happen. Because I didn't feel like that feud was going to be, onto the level with the title involved in it. Of course, they try to double team Wyatt and Orton, try to double team up on Reigns, but Reigns Superman punches them both. Wyatt's about to hit Sister Abigail, and I think it was Ben, and Reigns reversed it, and he threw Wyatt out of the match, and then it's causing the boos. It's down to Reigns and Orton, like two guys that you wouldn't really favor to win. Like, Reigns, I definitely didn't want to win this match, but Orton, I'm like, I'll take whatever, but he just didn't really need it at this point. I just didn't understand why. Orton wasn't really like that hyped up to win this Royal Rumble match to me, in my honest opinion. So Reigns is setting up for the spear on Orton, but Orton countered the spear with an RKO, and then Reigns jumped up, deflected to the ropes, and then Orton clotheslined him out, and Orton wins the 2017 Royal Rumble match. At first, I'm like, okay, I would have rather had Orton than Wyatt win this match. I mean, Orton and Reigns win this match, but still, it's like he didn't really need this, and I just didn't think this feud needed to involve the title. It also just kind of started, putting some cracks in the feud with Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton that we knew eventually they were going to turn on each other, pretty much. So, again, Orton wins the Rumble. Wyatt would then win the title off of John Cena at Elimination Chamber 2 weeks later. And then at first, Orton was refusing to face Wyatt, causing Wyatt to fully trust Orton and give him the keys to the kingdom. And then he burned Bray Wyatt's compound down after the new number one contender was made in AJ Styles for the championship. And Orton faced Styles to get his title opportunity back. So I would have rather had, if it would have gone that way, I would have rather had Orton still being the heel and Bray Wyatt being the face, double turning, or, to clean this up, neither of them should not have won the Rumble. They should have had, I know I originally picked Undertaker, but if it came down to those final four, I would have rather had it been Chris Jericho winning the Rumble, and instead of having the title involved in the Goldberg and Lesnar feud, because I didn't think that feud, the feud was good, but it didn't really need to have the title involved in it either. Have Jericho face Owens for the Universal title at WrestleMania, and maybe have Orton win the championship at the Elimination Chamber, and then have him turn on Wyatt there, and kind of similar how, my friend Rywan Kenobi pitched the idea about a double turn between Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor, have Orton turn on Wyatt, but have it be a double turn where Orton's still heel, but Wyatt turns face and admits, I trusted the wrong man, I made him into a monster, now I need to slay the Viper at WrestleMania pretty much and have Wyatt win the title off of Orton. I would have rather gone that route, have Jericho face Owens for the championship or whatnot. It could have been an interesting part of their story as well, instead of having for the United States Championship, which the United States Championship feud was still good, but, just to change it up a little bit, especially how badly it just ended up hurting Bray Wyatt in general. Now he's the eater of pins. But again, despite the last 5 minutes of that Rumble match, it was still a good Rumble, but I can't give as good of a grade because of those last 5 minutes, in my opinion. So with that, let's look at the numbers again. Again, I gotta remind myself to mention from which brand they're on because we're back to the brand split now. First, we have Big Cass from Raw, 9:57, no eliminations. Chris Jericho from Raw, 1 hour, 13 seconds, 2 eliminations. The 61-minute man! And there was a point in this match where Chris Jericho also became the longest a person in the Royal Rumble match. He has the most time now in Royal Rumble history in the Royal Rumble match. From SmackDown, we have Kalisto, 8:17, no eliminations. Number 4, Mojo Rawley from SmackDown, 6:16, no eliminations. Number 5 from 205 Live, Jack Gallagher, 3:20, no eliminations. Mark Henry from Raw, number 6, 3:17, 1 elimination. From Raw, Braun Strowman, 13:11, 7 eliminations. Sami Zayn from Raw, 47 minutes and 12 seconds, but no eliminations. But I was glad he got to be in there for that long. Big Show from Raw, number 9, minute 42, no eliminations. Number 10 from NXT, the perfect 10, Ty Dillinger, 5:27, no eliminations. From SmackDown, number 11, James Ellsworth, 15 seconds, no eliminations. He didn't get in the ring right away, though, until Ambrose came out, number 12. Dean Ambrose, Intercontinental Champion, number 12 from SmackDown, 26:55, no eliminations. Number 13 from SmackDown was Baron Corbin, 32:39, 1 elimination. Another guy who I'm glad got a lot of time in this Rumble. Number 14 from Raw, Kofi Kingston, 1/3 of New Day, 16:13, no eliminations. From SmackDown, The Miz, 32:44, no eliminations. Next viewer from Raw, Sheamus, number 16, 12:13, 2 eliminations. Big E, 9:46, no eliminations. Rusev, 22:31, no eliminations. Cesaro, 6:44, 2 eliminations. Number 20, Xavier Woods, 4:47, no eliminations. Next several from SmackDown, number 21, we have Bray Wyatt, 24:11, no eliminations. Apollo Crews, 5:46, no eliminations. Randy Orton, 20:52, 1 elimination. Dolph Ziggler, 4:21, no eliminations. Luke Harper, 9:56, 1 elimination. Again, all of those guys from SmackDown. And then everyone else is from Raw except for one person. First, we have Brock Lesnar at 4:30 with 3 eliminations. 27 was Enzo Amore, 18 seconds, no eliminations. Goldberg at number 28, 3:21, 3 eliminations. 29 was The Undertaker, but he was considered a free agent. 8:46 with 4 eliminations. And number 30, Roman Reigns, 5:05, 3 eliminations. Again, he should not have been in that Royal Rumble match. I'm sorry, he should not have. So again, the winner was Randy Orton. The longest time was Chris Jericho, 61-minute man, even though he was considered in only an hour and 13 seconds. The eliminations, most was by Braun Strowman with 7. The total duration of this was an hour and 2 minutes and 6 seconds. So the overall grade, again, it was a good Rumble, but then the last 5 minutes kind of felt very flat after Roman entered. So, and then with the winner, it was just weird. So, I mean, it was still a decent Rumble. I would have liked to see this. A lot of guys did get a lot of time, like Sami Zayn, Baron Corbin, a few others, but I would like to see maybe a few more eliminations, a little bit more from them. So, it was still a decent Rumble. So, with all that, I'm going to give the 2017 Royal Rumble match a C+. That's a grade I would give for the 2017 Royal Rumble match. What grade would you give this Royal Rumble match? Do your thoughts down in the comments section below. And as always, be sure to click that like and subscribe button for content to come to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at DemandAirboy93. And guys, we made it. We did it. I mean, I did it especially, but, with your support as well. Thank you guys again. If you watch all these Rumble reviews, please comment hashtag I watch them all. And, just leave your thoughts again. Again, I will continue this series next January when I'll do a retro recap and review of the women's and men's Royal Rumble match from this year, which takes place in 10 days, Sunday, January 28th, 2018, from the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, PA, the same place as the 2015 Royal Rumble. Please do not match that Rumble. Please don't. Please don't. I'm begging you, WWE, please don't. But yeah, so, as far as what's next, Again, just the usual live reviews and whatnot. I'm definitely going to focus a little more time though on finishing Shabs 2000 next, because I was taking a lot of time out to do this series as well. And then I will be taking a break from retro reviews until after WrestleMania, because I'm going to do the Road to WrestleMania season 3 this year again, and after WrestleMania, I will start doing the retro reviews for all the SummerSlams. And I will do all of them except for last year's SummerSlam, because I actually did review last year's SummerSlam on this channel, but I'll also include that in that playlist. So that's, and I don't want to really talk about that show again because it was complete garbage. But that's the plan going forward. So thank you guys again for watching these retro recap and reviews of just the Royal Rumble matches. Maybe next year also I'll try to check out some of the actual matches that were not Royal Rumbles. I mean, I'll still might do so, but I may do some videos involving that next year as well. But yeah, this was fun, guys. I enjoy it. I enjoyed watching all these Rumbles. Just another way for me as a late bloomer fan just to check out the past and see what else there was. I had just a lot of fun. Thank you guys again for tuning in. And until then, guys, I am checking out, and have a great night.